Amigos, this used to take 10 minutes, now it takes 10 seconds. Adobe just added a tool that makes animating Roto Cutouts way faster, and honestly, it changes the whole workflow. Let me show you how I use it on this Eugenio Suárez WBC moment. And if you're serious about sports motion design, I've got a masterclass waitlist linked below. This new feature called proportional scrubbing allows you to adjust multiple properties across multiple layers, distributing the value proportionally based on your selection order. In other words, with a single drag, you can offset the property values proportionally. Now, the first thing is that you need a reference layer, which will serve as your base. All the other layers that you're going to animate will be an offset from this base or reference layer. And this is mine. It's just the roto layer. The next copy that I have is a copy in yellow, one in blue, another one in red. I'm just using the colors from the flag of Venezuela. You can easily use the colors from your team. And the last layer that I want to animate is a copy of my roto layer. So these 4 layers are the layers that I want to offset and animate. And this will be my reference layer. All right. What I'm going to do now is move my CTI all the way here to 110. This is where I'm going to start to animate. Select your layers, hit P for the position property. We're going to offset the position. Let's add keyframes. Let's move the CTI right here at 2 seconds. Let's add another set of keyframes. Right now, we have the exact same values. We're not animating anything, but in a second, you're going to see how everything is going to change. Now, highlight and select the first set of keyframes. Move your cursor to either the X or the Y. In this case, I want to offset in the X position property. And if you hold on to Alt Control on a Windows or Option Command on a Mac, you can see that we're starting to offset this. And if you hold on to Shift, you can offset in bigger increments. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to animate one by one, and it's going to come in and stack on top of each other. Now, what's pretty cool is you can use this for literally any property, almost any property that you want. We can go to the scale property, hit S for scale. Let's add keyframes as well. I'm going to go to 2 seconds. Let's add keyframes, jump back to the first set. And again, this doesn't matter because it's linked, it's uniform. So we can either go to the X or the Y, but holding on to those 2 keyboard shortcuts that I just mentioned, you can hold on to Shift if you want to go faster or in a bigger increment. And let's go back to the position property. Let's highlight the first set of keyframes. And what I'm going to do is zoom out, move it here so you can see how much we're going to offset in the X direction. All right, let's move this all the way so it's off screen. And let's go back to 100%. Let's play this back. Now, it's not looking exactly like the example that I showed you because there's a couple more things that we need to do. Number one is we want them to be stacked in the reverse order. We want the yellow to be on top of the reference, the blue on top of the yellow, the red on top of the blue, and then my roto last will be the last layer. That's why I labeled it roto last. Now, it's going to be stacked on top of each other, which is perfect. Okay. Now, what we can do is hit U. Let's select all the layers, hit U to reveal all the keyframes. And what we can do is we can select the last set of keyframes, hit F9 for easy ease. We can jump into the speed graph, make sure that you are in the speed graph, select the last set of keyframes, and let's clamp this all the way to 100% influence. And now we have this effect. Okay, it's still quite not there. The last thing that we can do is we can either offset the layers or the keyframes. Now, what we want to do is starting from the yellow first, we're gonna select the yellow set of keyframes, go all the way to roto last, and we can go to the keyframes, hold on to the 2 keyboard shortcuts, Control Alt or Option Command, and now we can offset the keyframes themselves. So you can see here it says per layer 3.67, 4.00. That means right now it's being offset by 4 frames. So we can count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, it's being offset by 4 frames. So you don't need to do it for the roto reference. That will serve as our reference. Now, if I play this back, this is the effect that we have. This is exactly what I did for the example, which is pretty cool. Let me show you one other example, and this one is for the stars from the flag from Venezuela. I do have a code that you can copy if you want for the scale. It'll just randomize the scale. This is the exact code that I put on pretty much all the different layers, and it'll just give you a random scale for this, for the stars. And you can use this pretty much for anything else, icons, team logos, whatever. Now, I do have my reference, which is the first one, the first star. What I'm going to do is select all the layers, and I want to animate them coming from the bottom all the way to the top. So let's hit P for the position property. Let's add keyframes. I'm going to move the cursor to frame 13. Again, let's add keyframe. Let's go to the first set. And I'm going to go to the Y value. And let's just move it down. Let's zoom out so you can see. Okay. And let's go to the rotation property. Let's add keyframes for the rotation. And again, make sure that you select the first set of keyframes, starting from the reference. And now we can use it. You can see that the reference will stay at 0. Everything else will move. And now if we hit U on the keyboard, we don't need the star reference anymore. We can hide that. We can select the last set of keyframes, F9 for easy ease. Let's clamp these. And now what we can do is, starting from star 1 to star 8, instead of offsetting the keyframes, we can offset the layers themselves, which is pretty cool. Let's offset them exactly 2 frames. 1, 2, 1, 2. Perfect. And now let's check it out. Let's go to 100%. And you get this pretty cool animation where the stars just animate on one by one. Proportional scrubbing and quick offset on its own is simple, but combined with cutouts, with timing and layers, it really becomes a powerful tool for sports edit. If you want to learn how to build full sequences like this from scratch, my sports motion graphic masterclass goes way deeper. There's a waitlist link below if you want early access to the next round. Appreciate you, amigos, and remember that life is a gift. Make it count.